So, yeah, to preface this, I got to play Ingrid a little bit. And I was a little reluctant, and I'm like, oh, you know, yeah, we'll see. I'll just wait till she comes out. This is not like a necessarily super exciting character for me personally, where I'm like, oh god, I cannot wait for Ingrid. But the presentation that they're pulling off with her has been genuinely kind of cool. That they're leaning into this wild and crazy space creature that she is, which is a lot more interesting than the Athena sort of mock character that they had before. So yeah, that was always the most appealing thing. I am going to summarize Ingrid based on previous fighting game experience, and also tell you guys that initially my thoughts on this character is that that's probably the least interesting character to me personally of all of them when this stuff was first announced. And at the end of this season, I still am leaning that I had the most fun with Sagat. I actually ended up liking Sagat the most, and I think Sagat is probably one of the best representations of that character just in general. However, Ingrid is nuts. From a gameplay perspective, this character is crazy, and I'm going to... This is not going to mean much to many people, but I'm going to explain it with some gameplay. Ingrid is Holy Order Soul in Street Fighter 6. She literally is. Her entire game plan is that she starts off relatively like a normal character, and then she can build herself up to get these buffs, and the exact same way that Holy Order Soul does, and she doesn't keep them like Jamie. No, her whole game plan is to chores and cash out, chores and cash out, chores, do I save it, chores more, cash out, chores and cash out. She is this constant bouncing back and forth. And your next question is, so she's this insane chores zoning character? No, she's not really a zoning character. That's what's crazy. She gets a really powerful projectile that she can convert with these chores. But at the same point, the character is described by Capcom, and I started noticing this where I'm like, no, she's super versatile. She's not here just zoning people out and keeps you at mid to long range distance. She's not that. That is actually not the game plan. So let me start describing some stuff as we pull up some footage. Hold on a sec, chat. It is all we got right now. It's mostly just Ingrid versus Ingrid. So the fascinating thing is that I think it's her fireball back. This move does nothing by itself, but if you do fireball back light, she does this pose. She does these cutesy poses, and you can do them at the end of it in the air. You can do them on the ground. You can do them after certain specials, just like Holy Order Soul had. And it builds up her like sigil, whatever this thing is up here, whatever the official name of it actually is. It builds this up and it goes to, I think, around 5 or something like that. So you like her gameplay? I think as a core character in herself, she has some of the most interesting gameplay in the game, and it's crazy to think that. And the reason that the gameplay is interesting is that when you build these, which is like, I don't know if she's going to be super good because she has to work for it, but dude, when you have these, it changes everything. Like every one of her specials, her level 1 supers, her level 2 supers, her level, I think even her level 3, it's actually like crazy how I didn't even get to see everything. There was too many modifiers, and it wasn't just like one cash out where it's like, okay, so now you're doing the level 1 version of this move. Here's the level 2 version of this move. If anything, if there's another Street Fighter character that we can compare this to, the push and pull of the move is not the exact same, but she's the most close to G in Street Fighter V. G was different. G had to like get knocked down or something like that for him to lose his bullshit. No. Ingrid just like does a move and poses and then gets it. And it's up to her when she cashes it out, which is how the Holy Order Soul comparison is. So the nuttiest thing is that she has like really good teleports. She can do teleports after certain specials and stuff. An aerial one, a grounded one, all that kind of stuff. She's in the wrong game, dude. Like, and you'll start to see some stuff with the character in some of this footage, if not some of the footage that's been released. She doesn't fit Street Fighter like in any normal way at all. She's like this insanely powerful being that is likely more powerful than any Street Fighter character that's ever existed. Some of the footage that's been released is actually nuts. And the weirdest part about it is that I started seeing how much effort they were putting into this, because there are so many manipulators that you can put on top of her specials that change the way things work and look. So I was just seeing new things constantly, like fighting CPUs and doing this stuff and getting whooped by higher level CPUs and stuff. It was like, whoa, you can do that. Wait, you can do that. Wait, you can do that. She had some pretty decent hit confirms. The one thing that is clearly lacking on the character, is that her drive rush is probably the worst in the game. I think Geef's might even be faster. I have no direct comparison. We couldn't slow anything down, but her drive rush is legit bad. However, I am curious about this, where you can maybe make an assumption based on that, where I wonder if her having a really bad drive rush and being the last character of this season, as we are right on the cusp of a next season of Street Fighter 6. The Street Fighter devs have a history of this going back to like Street Fighter 4, where at the end of certain seasons or in between games, they test mechanics. I have no evidence for this outside of what Ingrid plays like. However, I'm really curious if this is like a precursor of where the game is going. And I'm really wondering if it's like, man, her drive rush is notably really rough. However, I'm wondering if other characters' drive rushes are going to be like that in the future. So I'm just saying, I don't know if it's going to be the case directly, but hers was so notably toned down from the rest of the roster that I was like, dang, wow, that is really specific. But granted, she makes up for it in other crazy things like conversions and offense and all this wild stuff, dude. I was absolutely not ready for Ingrid to be a character that was going to be fun or enjoyable to play. But what I dig about it is that, like, all of the cutesy shit that she does is like weirdly Looney Tunes. It's like, it's almost like tongue-in-cheek cutesy, where she isn't actually like trying to be cutesy. It's like she's emulating cute shit. You know what I mean? Like, there's a weird aspect to her that I kind of appreciate, where she's almost like a comedy character. And you start to see that in some of the other footage that's been shown out in some ways, where some of her animations and stuff are kind of nuts. Look at this.
Now experience.
Bro, like, I saw this super done to Akuma, and Akuma was sitting here basking in this golden light, and he was just like, oh, like, even seeing Akuma, he's like, oh, like, the universe. So it's kind of insane that she legit is the most, like, powerful character in Street Fighter history. Like, she technically is eclipsing, like, everything in some way. She's really nuts, dude. So yeah, the weirdest part is that she kind of played like a Holy Order Soul, with some pretty decent hit confirms, a good anti-air. I don't know if she had a fully invincible anti-air. We had no training mode to test stuff. Some of the projectiles seem like they could be kind of rough at the start, but when they do get their sigil buffs, the Suncrest buffs, they end up getting a lot better. So I don't know, man. Like, like I said last week, the last thing I was expecting was like to enjoy this character in some way, because I've had some rough impressions, some other characters where it's like Viper and things like that. I'm like, okay, yeah, it's C Viper. But Ingrid, I was pleasantly surprised by her being a lot different than I thought she was going to be. And also sharing some similarities to G and other games like Holy Order Soul, where it's all about getting these things and cashing out these things, and getting these things and cashing out these things. And do you keep saving these things for the big cash out? Because she becomes really dangerous when she has like a ton of crests or sigils or whatever. She can now convert big beams from full screen into like larger combos and stuff like that. So yeah. Does she carry them over between rounds? No, not at all. Not at all. She has to build them individually and you cash them out. So for anybody that's never played Holy Order Soul in Street Fighter, Holy Order Soul in older Guilty Gears, His whole thing is that he does a pose and builds like a buff. Like he gets stronger, and that buff enables him to do different things with his specials. It makes all of his specials and a lot of things on the character different. It's the exact same with her, but when you do that, it goes back. It pretty much reverts it back to like the default amount. You got to re-get the buff. You got to reestablish the buff and get it back. So there is a push and pull here where I don't know if she's going to inherently be super crazy in the game simply because she has to like get these things. And a lot of characters that have to like get a resource don't end up being the best characters in Street Fighter 6. Usually the characters that just go in and can do this shit like crazy are extremely good. Anyway, like Manon? No, not at all, because Manon just gets strong per round and doesn't have to cash out. She just remains strong. Ingrid does not remain strong. Like, she only remains strong if you don't use the buffs, and when you eventually use your specials, they're gone. So you have to, like, get and acquire, get and acquire, get and acquire, and it's always this push and pull of, like, using it, and when do you use it, all that kind of stuff. So, anyway, it was very fun. It was very fun to, like, discover all that nutty stuff that you can actually do, you know? Let me see what else we got. Yeah, let's go up here. Anything good? She has a lot of really good target combos. I mean, most characters in Street Fighter 6 have a plethora of target combos at this point. But she also, yeah, she has some pretty dang good ones. It was pretty obvious, like, what sets up for Oki, what sets up for big damage. Like most Street Fighter characters, you kind of get the idea. So yeah, check that out. That is one level of Suncrest, right? One. You only need one to do this massive beam from full screen, and then you go in. And if you hit that beam from anywhere closer, you can easily drive rush after and do some big stuff. It doesn't have to be only teleport. Teleport you can do manually, so it's kind of like up to you. Like this. There you go. So, and if you have two Suncrests here, the beam gets mad big, mad crazy, and then teleport down does like a butt bump, and it knocks you to the ground for a ground bounce. Then now you're getting like big combos with confirms off of big stuff. So it's kind of cool. You're all about 3 kicks? Ah, yeah. And there was also a little bit of, this is a slight teaser of her arcade mode. Let's check this out really quick. I want to see the arcade mode. She literally obliterates the other version of herself, which is like the little dude. Does she talk to the audience? Not really. Not really.
There's no point in hiding from me.
Oh, how curious. You could sense me hiding between dimensions?
Interdimensional creature.
My, how you've grown, Ryu. Bully for you.
Have we met?
I like it that the indication is that they know each other from Capcom Fighting Jam in a different universe, in like literally an alternate dimension where Capcom Fighting Jam exists. And Ryu's like, who the fuck are you? Because he wouldn't know.
It's me, Ingrid, extra-dimensional woman of mystery.
Alpha 3's not canon, chat. We ain't gonna canonize the PSP and collection version of Alpha 3. Come on.
Moniker pales in comparison to Ryu the Bearded. Look,
You know what? I think it makes a lot more sense that the interdimensional version of Ingrid comes from a place where Capcom Fighting All-Stars actually released, and it was a real game that came out, the code holders, you know? I think that makes more sense. Where she's with Ryu in a game that never came out.
scruffy thing, you really have grown into quite the man.
Ingrid, take me to that timeline. I want to play that game.
Oh, yes. Long ago, when you were but a cub, nothing more than peach fuzz and attitude.
A cub? I haven't been called that since I was a kid.
Weird.
So we knew each other when we were children?
When we were children? Cute. But you misunderstand. I haven't aged a day since we last met. I've always looked like this.
Weird.
You really don't remember me? Wow, nothing has ever cut me so
Sure, you
deep to
can,
the
this
quick.
child.
I just might cry. Well, one mustn't take things too much to heart. Time to move on. Let's think outside the box. Perhaps it's not that you can't remember, but that there's nothing to remember.
Capcom Fighting All-Stars never came
The
out.
likely result of
Listen.
temporal parallax, an anomaly in which the past of my world and present of yours have yet to converge.
Temporal parallax.
Ryu is an idiot, lady. Don't you understand?
But fret not. This is a matter for my mind, not your muscle. Though,
Ryu is the wrong guy to be telling this shit to.
bring up would do you some good.
What did you have in mind?
Oh, you know what? Now come, let your fist do the talking.
Yeah. I love how unexpected and weird as shit she is. I think that's the part that makes me happy, is that, like, again, I like being surprised by things that are, like, unexpected. And I feel like I just enjoy that more and more as time goes on. Especially if they're done in, like, a really satisfying way. And I think what they're doing with Ingrid is probably the coolest thing they could do with her, you know? Turning her into this weird interdimensional space creature that is just hyper weird and funnily enough, like, self-referential, kind of like as a tongue-in-cheek to the audience in some way, is pretty cool. It's just fun. She falls asleep and gets dragged off. That's her. She has a physical counter move. Whenever we get to see Drive Rush. So that's her building sigil right there. Check it out. She has to enter this pose. She can do this in between certain specials from what I remember. Don't quote me on that, but she can do it at the end of some moves. And she can also do it while jumping. So if you have... Here's an interesting thing. I think you could manipulate your jump arc by building the Suncrest, Sun Sigil, whatever. I think you could actually manipulate your jump arc. So if you don't want to jump all the way, you can stop and build it and fall straight down, and people will just like whiff DP and stuff like that. I think that worked that way. It's been a little while. You can like anti-air bait, yeah. You can also cancel it from air normals into it. She also had a cancelable down medium kick. She definitely did. Good luck trying to anti-air that. Yeah, forward HP was this like lunging aerial move that keeps them juggled, and you can also go into sigil. Anyway. Cool. I keep saying Suncrest, but I think it's actually, I keep saying Sigil, but it's actually Suncrest, I believe, yeah. Anyway, she was just really fun. That's my final impression. I ended up having a very good time. I kind of went to this thing and I was like, yeah, I'll try her for like 20 minutes so I can get some impressions of what she's like to tell people. My bitch ass ended up playing for 2 hours. And I was like, I'm going to be in traffic now. My bitch ass was there for 2 hours. So... we'll see. This has happened to me before. I ended up really liking odd characters in Guilty Gear Strive. I can't believe I liked Elfelt and put a little bit of time into that. Not much. So anyway, I went from like, oh yeah, we'll just check her out, to now I'm actually kind of really looking forward to it. Now I'm like debating, okay, so yeah, Kunimitsu and this chick are going to be launching on the same time frame and like the same day. I'm like, am I just going to go back to Tekken on that day, or, you know, wait on Ingrid, play Tekken? And now I'm definitely going to play Ingrid. Now I'm definitely going to have a good time with Ingrid on that launch day.